Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation where you flow your presence enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Blah. Welcome to DBDS Live. Yes. I'm your host, Mel Money, with my special co-host, the beautiful Nicole. And I'm pretty excited for today's show because, like always, we have some amazing guests on the show. So how you feeling today, my sister?
Hey, Mel, I'm doing good. And as always, excited for today's show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and supporting DBDS Live. We do have a new segment towards the end of the show called The Exchange. When you call, you can call in and speak to us live on the air. Whether you have a relationship question for the panel or just want to give your insight, please call in. We want to talk to you. The phone number is 860-365-9710.
I love it. So listen, don't be shy. We want to hear from you. We want you to leave your comments, your thoughts. If you have questions for the panel, feel free to drop right in. And just to add more substance to the DBDS brand, make sure you subscribe to our channel, DBDS Live on YouTube, and our podcast, DBDS Live LLC.podbean.com. That's DBDS Live LLC.podbean.com. So you don't want to miss these, trust me, these fiery episodes on relationship topics that can help you, or, maybe you could pass the knowledge to someone who may want to grow. And lastly, to my single people out there, if you're looking for a healthy relationship, make sure you join dbdssingles.com to find that special someone. All right. So with that being said, today's show is titled Portraits the Snowball Effect. What you think about that topic, Nicole?
This is such a good topic. We need to be able to not only look for the big red flags, but for the little ones too. So we're going to help you do that today.
Absolutely. And just to let you guys know about the title, just to elaborate on the topic, it refers to those, as Nicole stated, those common traits to look out for that can hinder your relationship in a negative light. So before we pivot to our show, I would like to give a special shout out to my brother Mo, his wife Gina. Listen, Nadia, our prayers are going out to you and your family as well.
We love you.
Absolutely. So with that being said, let's go on with the show.
Let's get it.
The first person, that's right. Wow. So the first person we're bringing into the DBDS Live studio is my sister, Erica. Hey, welcome to DBDS Live.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Hey. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Well, I currently reside in Houston, Texas. I've been here approximately almost 9 years now. I work in the accounting world. One of the reasons why I'm on the show today, I feel, is because of me trying to find peace and happiness in the darkness, and just trying to always have a positive outlook in negative or toxic situations.
Beautiful.
Very well said. It's that mindset, that positive outlook. It's part of growth. Now, coming next into the DBDS studio, she was here before, dropping knowledge, dropping those jewels. Welcome back, my sister Gianni, to DBDS Live. Hey.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, guys. Hi.
So we have new audience. We have new viewers. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you on the show today.
Hi, guys. So my name is Gianni. I am originally from Massachusetts. I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I am an entrepreneur. I've been a hairdresser for 10 plus years. I'm also a network marketer with a beauty company. So if there's anybody out there with all of what's going on and they want to change in their life, if they want something new and they want to start a business, I'm here. I walk you through every step of the way. And it is just a beautiful journey. It's changed me tremendously. And it's such a great feeling. It's all about focusing on your mind and growth and just sharing that, with thousands of other people, and just to get them on the same path of, growing and being better for themselves and other people.
Wow, that's
Excellent.
simply amazing. Absolutely. And thank you for coming back on the show. We
Thank you
love
for
you.
having me.
Welcome
All
back,
right.
So nice. So this is a great topic to elaborate on today because I feel like too many times we bypass these common traits until it shifts over into a negative light. And this is why I tell people to pay attention to their personality traits, their habits, and take each thing you notice and multiply it by 3. You know, can you ask yourself, can you really tolerate their behavior in a long-term or lifetime commitment? Can you handle their reactions? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we get deep with this topic, we do have a DBDS Anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and they look for some constructive criticism to help them along their journey. And I'll have my DBDS sister, Nicole, read the letter. Take it away, Nicole.
Okay, so our DBDS sister says, "Hello, DBDS. First off, I want to thank you for all the work you have done with helping people. It's refreshing to get different points of view and apply it to your life. But I do need some advice, so here we go. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 6 years and we have a daughter together. My problem is he keeps messaging a woman he used to date. Now, at the beginning, when we were dating, he always had plenty of female friends, even ex-girlfriends who he views as his close friends. At the time, it didn't bother me, but now that we are in a relationship, some of his female friends will call him past midnight and even flirt with him. I find it disturbing because out of all of his lady friends, there's one who he talks to on a consistent basis, and he does not share with me what they talk about. She is also married and she knows a great deal about me, but I don't know too much about her. I'm worried about her. I'm not worried about her as we live clear across the country, but they have been flirty before. He doesn't hide it, and I have a password for his phone. Lately, she just sends him text saying, "Can you talk?" or "Is your woman around?" instead of talking to him on the phone. I think her husband doesn't know as they only talk when she's at work. I think they're being too secretive because her husband told her he was uncomfortable with her talking to my man. I think it's disrespectful to me and her husband if they are hiding it. I have communicated this to him before, and he said I have trust issues, and this is why he's having second thoughts of us getting married and why he's holding back from us getting a house together. My question is, should I message his lady friend and ask her what's up? Because if she's hiding the fact of talking to him from her husband, I would also like him to know. And if I do message her, should I tell my boyfriend first, since I'm sure she will run right to him? I know this will cause drama, but I feel honest communication is the best form of communication, as you guys have mentioned on the show. Any advice is appreciated. Thanks.
Okay, my sister. Well, first off, thank you for the letter. It does take courage to be open, so don't worry. Listen, we have some experienced people with some great wisdom and knowledge that can help you in need. So I'm coming to my sister Erica. You know, what advice we have for this sister?
The first thing, especially in a relationship, that I would encourage anyone to do is when you're in the relationship, you're in the relationship with that man. So any issues you have, you need to communicate it with him, voice how you feel, and from there, take that in consideration. In this situation where, like, I have friends who are married, and are engaged and everything like that. If there is anything as a friend that I would do that would make my friend's significant other uncomfortable, out of respect, I would have to acknowledge that and make sure that I didn't create that discomfort. Because at the end of the day, it's her relationship with him. Taking it to the other person directly, um, I think that's something that she needs to do with him. And the thing that alarms me is that his friend is not communicating, I guess, to her significant other that they have a conversation. So that is where the issue really lies, because there's not complete transparency. And that's where I would have that conversation with him first and then process that once I get that information and then decide on the next step.
Well said. Communication is the key. Very well said. I'm coming to my sister Gianni. How can we help our sister? What advice you have for her?
Okay, so I agree with Erica in the sense of this is my opinion, but I don't reach out to the next person just because I'm not in a relationship with that person. I'm in a relationship with the other person, and not saying that I'm worried about what the next person might think, but she could probably think that she has a up on you. So I don't ever give that person that satisfaction of feeling like they had one up on me. That's just me. But I feel like it's way deeper than what you're thinking. Because in order for them to still kind of be there, her not tell her husband, your husband say you're insecure or whatever you're feeling. No, you're not insecure. Everything's blatantly out there. He clearly doesn't care about your feelings. That's how I feel. Because he's letting you know he's doing it. You know, he's doing it blatantly in front of your face. And it's just like, okay, well, what are you going to do? Nothing. That's what it seems like. And it sounds like him and her relationship is like, maybe, I don't know, as far as like a childhood relationship, and they started to like each other and then never was able to go there. But, you know, I still have feelings for this person, so I'm not going to fully let them go, but I'm gonna have to somewhat keep them on the back burner, but keep it quiet. And the fact that if her husband doesn't know, that's the issue, because she's hiding something. She's hiding her feelings that she has for the next man. And your husband, in his sense, I feel like he's just like, well, I might have feelings for her, but I'm not going to let you know. But I am letting you know in the actions that I'm taking. So I say for you is just open your eyes. It's right in front of you. He's clearly telling you what it is. It's just your initiative to go forward with what you want to do. Don't worry about what he wants to do. It's about what you feel and how you want to handle the situation. And I get it. I have a 6-year-old child too. Well, I don't know if she's 6. I'm sorry, but y'all said y'all were together for 6 years. But I have a child as well. And I personally will never stay with someone just because of the child. Because if you're miserable, you know, all it does is just reflect off of you. And you may not be wanting to be mean to your child, but it might come off as you being mean and you not knowing that you're being mean because you're so frustrated and so hurt inside. And you're just like, why can't I get through to this person? It might not. I always say it's not you, it's the person. If you know you're good in your skin and you know what your values are and who you are as a person, then you're fine. It's not you, it's him. Oh, so that's all I have to say.
Yes.
Very well said. I love what you stated, because the thing is, when you get in a relationship, you're not in a relationship with yourself. You know, there's someone on the opposite spectrum that you have to learn how to compromise, listen, empathize, just to name a few of those traits. Coming to my sister Nicole, what's your advice for this sister?
Erica and Gianni, I mean, that was great advice. I definitely agree with the both of you. To my DBDS sister, thank you for reaching out. Thank you to us. We're definitely here to help you. So first, it's great that you have communicated your feelings to him, but his response troubles me a little bit. On one hand, if your approach was calm and clearly expressed why you were feeling insecure, then he shouldn't be getting upset. An empathetic partner will not dismiss your concern. He will listen and address those issues. You know, if he's being dismissive without a second thought, that can definitely be a red flag. On the other hand, if you came at him in anger and drama was his response, he could have been triggered by your negative approach and he was automatically put on the offense or the defense. So communication is a lot like an alarm system on your house. When somebody politely knocks on your door, the alarm is not tripped. You're not panicking. You just simply go to the door and you open the door and see who it is, right? But if someone's banging on your door or trying to force their way into your house, the alarm is set off. Its sole purpose is to protect the house. So either way, if he's hurting you, he needs to understand why. So my advice is to approach him again, try to make him view the situation from your point of view without any accusation or anger whatsoever. If he tries to explain things to you, in return, let him, listen to him, try to see things from his point of view, then you both can come to an agreement about what happens next. Like the rest of the panel said, please do not reach out to the other woman and her husband. This will not make things any better. In fact, you might be even adding fuel to the fire and further damaging your relationship.
Very well said. Man, and I'm just going to piggyback off of you, Nicole. And I love that alarm analogy because, you know, a lot of us don't know how to communicate, you know, and if you're coming at your partner in a very non-productive way, then it's going to just put it at a standstill. So first off, I want to thank you for being an avid supporter, Anonymous Sister. That really means a lot and we appreciate you. Now, with that being said, here's my thought process regarding your situation. On the outside looking in, there's no healthy boundaries within your relationship. And a lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect, because after you communicated to him on how you feel, that's where I feel a middle ground should have been created in order to satisfy your needs. And when something is secretive from your significant other, it begins to lower the trust component. And by him talking to his lady friend on a consistent basis in this manner, this may open the door to an emotional affair, even though there's no physical intimacy. But the deception shows that those involved believe that what they're doing is wrong, that affects their existing relationship in a negative light. Because in other words, if there was really no harm in talking to his lady friend, listen, then both parties would feel comfortable telling their partners the truth about what they're discussing. And sadly, that's not the case in your situation. Another thing too about your letter, my sister, you have to pay attention to these manipulative tactics that are being used as a smokescreen, because verbally he communicated to you, as Gianni stated, that your core values are not aligned with each other. He has taken into account that he mentioned he's not going to marry you, or he mentioned he's not even going to get a house with you. These are signs that you have to really pay attention to. Mm-hmm. So my opinion will state, hey, try to communicate with him again. But now it's time to dial back and reevaluate the relationship. Okay. So again, thank you for your letter, and I hope our advice helps you along your journey. Now, with that being said, it's time for our show.
Hey.
So, so with that being said, the first topic that we're going to discuss regarding poor traits is lying. Man, I cannot tell you how common it is that people are so overly attracted to someone and they brush the lies underneath the rug. So let me size this up. So my thing is that it's common for some people to tell small lies during the dating phase. They're representative, like they're pretending to be something. Some will justify this behavior as a mean to oppress that brother or sister, or for others, it's just a part of their genetic makeup for their own selfish gains. And this is why it's critical to pay attention to this common trait if you want to build a transparent foundation to increase the trust component. And trust me, don't bypass this trait just because, oh, sister, he's fine, or she's beautiful. Do not bypass this trait.
It's not enough.
So I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Okay, so I agree with you, Mel, as far as the beginning, like you said, you're going to lie. Because of whatever it is that's going on. But at some point, you have to say, I can no longer lie, because now that one little lie literally can destroy a whole relationship, can destroy a marriage, where now that person is like, well, I can't even trust you because I knew your answer, but you just literally blatantly lied to me in my face. So it's about the process that you went to the extreme to get to there. So, yes.
Love that. Very well said. We got the first shot fired on the show, Can
we give a shout out to Nadia? Because I know that she would be giggling right now. Our hearts and prayers are with you. We love you, girl.
Absolutely. Now I'm coming to my sister, Erica. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
The one thing that we all have to take in consideration is when you do start on a small scale and it becomes continuous, like, yes, you want to protect that person, but what you also want to take heed to is that you're creating a condition within your relationship to where if you're trying to be vocal or get something across to your partner, they're going to have this one perception of you. And then one day when you actually try to open up and try to be 100% with them and genuine, that's going to partially affect them, because when you communicate something and then they're like, okay, well, I did say this multiple times, but actually this was the actual case, you're almost in some ways weakening that trust, which could have been stronger. The bond could have been much stronger. And with your partner, or even friendships or any kind of relationships, even with family, it's just like the more you add to it, the more dominoes you create, where you have that domino effect to where, you know what, it all comes crashing at you.
Absolutely. It's a chain reaction. That's what it is. It's a chain reaction. You have that little snowball at the top of the mountain. You push it down, and it turns into an avalanche of lies, right? So I'm coming to my sister Nicole. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So as I was preparing for this subtopic, I did a lot of research on little white lies. Because when I think of lying, I just automatically think it's bad, don't do it. But interestingly enough, I got some great insight on both sides. You know, I love to play the devil's advocate. So an article I read on Psych Central said that white lies are actually extremely common in healthy relationships. According to Susan Orenstein, PhD, she's a licensed psychologist and relationship expert. She defined white lies as omitting the complete truth to spare someone's feelings. A white lie is an innocuous lie. In fact, she said sometimes a white lie is just being kind. And these are the examples that she gave. It's your wife wondering if you can see her wrinkles and you replying, "You're as beautiful as ever." Or it's your husband bringing you breakfast in bed, the fruit's overripe and the French toast is undercooked, and you saying, "Oh, that's delicious, honey." So it's kind of a different way to look at it. So the article continued to say, white lies are not okay when something actually bothers you and you want your partner to change something that they have the ability or the capacity to change. So keeping secrets and withholding your feelings from your partner, that's when it gets bad, right? It's often, it will sabotage your relationship. And then she continues to say, the best course of action is, again, to talk about it. If you can verbalize your struggles and your frustrations, you're doing your partner a great favor because you two can directly address the issue together instead of avoiding the issue.
Listen, a lie is a lie. I mean, to my brothers, I don't mean to jump off subtopic here, but if you truly got game, you won't have to lie to begin with in order to get with that woman. If you really got game, right? So, my thing is that the whole lying thing, from my perspective, your first impression is your best impression, no matter what you do in life or who you meet, or you always want to put your best foot forward. However, the authentic best version of you should be the one meeting people, and that's one trait you should expect from your potential partner, especially if you want a sustainable relationship, because some may see their lies as insignificant. For example, listen, he may say something like, she eats a lot of, she eats a lot of food and giggles about it. And he's like, wow, you finished my plate before I finished mine. Or, or something like, I'm working at Starbucks to work on a proposal project, but really she's out with her sister, something of that nature, just to freestyle it. But at the end of the day, a lie is a lie. And if you catch that person in a lie and refuse to communicate how wrong it is to your potential partner, then it may lead to a non-stable relationship, because you can't trust someone if they lie to you on a consistent basis. And that's where the logic has to come into play. Ask yourself this question, multiply it by 3 times. Can you really build a healthy relationship on lies? Like, if your potential partner cheated on you, how hard would it be for them to be honest with you? And I think it's something to really think about. So before we continue with our other topics, So right now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Sit tight. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with Gianni, my sister Erica, my DBDS sister, Nicole, and we've been chopping it up. Today's topic is portrays the snowball effect. And we're going to just keep this flowing. But before we do, we're going to give some shout outs to some of our people out there. Nicole, you want to just give a shout out to someone?
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Miss Becca. She did my hair and makeup today. She made me look fabulous for you guys. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. Hair by Becca, hair by _ Becca, BECCA 22 on Instagram. If you're in Colorado, check her out for all your wedding, just getting fly needs. She's your girl.
Love it. Love it. And I love that word fly because it stands for first love yourself. Love it. And I want to give a shout out to some of the people's watching. Shout out to my girl Tiana, my girl Christy, my brother Ronald, Gina Vini, Shantavia, Lori, Curtis Harris, Tony, Reset Good, Naquia, Amon Hollis, Toya, anybody that's watching, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. So we're going to continue rolling. And the next subtopic we want to talk about that is a very common trait that people bypass. Insecurities. Man, this is a insecurities. I know you guys are. So let me size this up. So listen, in the beginning, you know, insecurities is almost, I would say, always cute because of the way it shows up. You know, it may seem light and fluffy at the beginning. For example, he makes a weight joke because she finished her food faster than he did, or she tells her potential partner in a playful manner to spend more quality time with her than with his daughter. And these are traits. These traits appear more than often than you have to, I feel like, reevaluate the relationship before you take it to the next level. Okay. So I'm coming to my sister, Erica. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Part of insecurities that we have just might be, I'm trying to look at this. It just might be related to like the confidence that we have in ourselves. Now, like in the beginning, you're kind of getting to know a person. You're trying to get that feel. You guys, because you don't know anything about this person who could potentially become your lifetime partner. But the insecurities that we often have, I do feel comes from a place of us wanting to make sure that we are what they want us to be, instead of us reaffirming who we are and having the confidence within ourselves. And then oftentimes when you get those insecurities, which you see, I think it's like a trend, like in social media and stuff, for the insecurities, is that these people base themselves off of what they're seeing from others, and then finding themselves not being enough, which in turn creates a little bit of chaos at times within a relationship, with the hostile messages and, you know, I don't believe you. And then that also kind of ties back into the feeling of lying or whatever, because sometimes your partner may not be lying. It's just your insecurities that is weighing into the situation. So that's how I view insecurities.
Very well said, man. Man, insecurities can break down a relationship. I'm telling you. Coming to my sister Gianni, what are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Insecurities. I agree with Erica. It lies within yourself. It really, truly does, because I remember like getting, you know, first talking to my husband, and he would just do certain things, and I'd be like, "You're insecure," and he'd be like, "No, I'm not," and I'd be like, "Yes, you are. The certain things that you do is insecure. Like, why do you do certain things?" And I feel like sometimes, people, like I said, it goes right back to what's wrong with the person inside. Like, I feel like for his instincts, I feel like he did so much wrong in his 20s on cheating on whoever he was with and things of that nature. So when he actually was like, okay, I want to settle down. No, don't you dare do what I did to the next person. And when he would say certain things, it was just, how can I say, it would be like, it would just turn me off. And I felt like he needed to know. But I would refer back to, it's all within you. Something's wrong with you. You need to evaluate yourself and love yourself and see what's going on and why you feel this way, because I can't help you change that. You know, you have to change that within yourself.
Very
so it's
well
basically
said.
piggybacking off of Erica, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't carry with that weight saying something like one person posted in the DBDS group, like, if you look at my woman more than 10 seconds, I'm going to fight you. Yeah, that is
terrible.
insecure.
I'm
Yes.
hot.
Yeah. So Erica, you want to add something else to the mix?
Well, yeah, and so like Piggy, kind of going off a little bit what Gianni said, the thing that I think that drives me crazy so much, especially when it comes to insecurity, especially within men, is like the things that they've been through in the past, just like what she said. And if you don't take the time to actually address those past insecurities, like I stated before, it becomes completely toxic. And it's like you go into this situation where it's already damaged. Like
Mhm.
the vase is already broken. Like there isn't anything, like it was never to be whole to begin with, because I mean it gets stressful. And okay, I think that's all I'm gonna say. My mind just
No,
my mind just went blank really quick. Yeah. I don't
no,
want to
you're right.
preach.
It's okay. That's what we're here for. Preach.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you stated that, Erica, because I always state that if you're damaged, fix yourself before you jump into a relationship, whether man or woman. You got to fix yourself. All right. I'm coming to my sister Nicole. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, I want to tell Miss Gianni, Mommy, you're hot because we're burning down the studio today. Goodness gracious. Sorry, I'm gonna focus. So, I mean, let's be honest. We all have certain insecurities. What's important is identifying the underlying cause, then focusing on building ourselves up in the areas that we're lacking.
Mm.
But we can only do this for ourselves. When we get into a relationship with an insecure person, especially after working on our own securities, it's completely draining. It's just exhausting. It could start off in a passive way, like Mel was saying. My mind just went blank, sorry. So in a passive way, like wanting them to spend all your time with them, and they constantly seek reassurance. And as women, we naturally are nurturers. So again, in the beginning, we don't mind letting him know where we stand or his importance in our lives. The problem comes in is when the need is never met. It's just constant. I need it, I need it, I need it. Instead of being reassured and resolving that insecurity, it grows and grows and grows, like the avalanche Mel was talking about earlier. The more you're trying to fix it, the worse it gets. This can lead to a vicious cycle of suspicions, complaints, and demands that, again, will drain the energy of both people and lead to an unhealthy, unbalanced relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only drain, but it can destroy the relationship completely.
Right.
Right? I mean, because from my perspective, Nicole, as you stated, insecurities in a relationship are like termites in a house. Like it will slowly but surely destroy everything. And this is why I always state that you should take your time and treat your relationship as a marathon, because you want to get to know every angle about that person. Because the insecurity at the beginning may seem innocent until it takes a turn for the worse, where it's now breaking down the relationship. And from a man's perspective, the woman that you choose to hold that most important position in your life is a direct reflection of who you are as a man. If she's insecure, then more than likely you're insecure, and vice versa. And the reality is, when a man and woman decides to settle with a potential partner who projects poor character, then it reveals their own insecurities, because they have this fear of rejection, or they're unwilling to become a better version of themselves to attract the kind of man or woman they rightfully deserve. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and continue to our next subtopic. And the next one related to poor traits, the snowball effect, is ratchet communication.
Oh,
You know, the name calling, just verbally, non-verbally. So let me size this up. I know it's a powerful picture. So my thing is that when it comes to ratchet communication, I'm going to paint this picture for you. You know, the person you're dating loves to tell jokes, and he or she use curse phrases to get their point across. And you also enjoy the excessive profanity to the point that this form of communication is normal. Now, fast forward 5 years later into your relationship, and anytime you guys have a disagreement, foul language and name calling is the norm which is breaking down your relationship. And this all could have been avoided if you would have recognized this trait at the beginning, right? So I'm coming to my sister, Erica. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So, a lot of my friends who know me may joke about some of the stuff that's said because I have, I guess you could say, my blonde moment. So when it comes to stuff like this, like being like, oh, she's a bad bee, and then just like, oh, slim thick, or oh, if you, it's just like, to me, it takes away from the fact of you being able to get deeper with a person in the sense to where it's like, okay, I'm trying to articulate, not trying to say that they're not intelligent, but it's just like I'm trying to articulate what you're actually like. I'm spending my time interpreting what you're wanting to actually tell me versus you just communicating to me and it having so much more meaning. Like I like hip hop and things of that sort, but in so many ways, it has made it so normal to be able to sit up here and just use these terms and these phrases, and then I'm in here like sometimes like, is this what dating is like? Is this why I'm still single? Because if this is what I have to do to get someone on the same page with me, it's not worth it. I'm like, my whole thing is at the end of the day, would you speak to your mother that way? Would you want your daughter spoken to that way? And then I'm like, as a father, which I've always said, in the generation when it comes to dating, like the way some of us were raised is not how it used to be. It's too lax. They're not many more. There's not as many principles. Like the term that drives me crazy is when they're like, oh well, she thinks I'm thirsty. You're saying thirsty, but I mean, do you mean court? Because you need to court me. You need to date me. Like I'm not trying to Netflix and chill. Like I am dating towards finding a potential husband. So for me, it's like when you start using these words, it kind of creates disconnect, and I'm like, we can't connect because I'm confused because I just want the English language, not the Urban Dictionary.
You gotta give it.
And that, my brothers and sisters, that's what separates a diamond sister from a cubic zirconia sister. I'm coming to my sister Gianni. What are your thoughts on this topic?
That was great. I liked that ending. That was phenomenal. Seriously. So my thought on ratchet speaking, I can say everybody's been through that moment of, at least for me, I have been through that moment of being talked to a certain way or me talking a certain way. And it revolves around all things, not just in a actual, relationship with somebody as far as boyfriend and girlfriend. Because me and my friends, we used to be like, oh, hey, bitch. And it'd be like, growing up, my mom was like, you don't do that, But then, at a point I was lost in my life and I started adapting to all my friends' lingos and just going there and being like, okay, it's cool. Like, hey, but then you don't realize that little thing just opened the door for you now to accept a man calling you a bitch. So for me, looking back then, I did that. And when I finally was out of that relationship of someone calling me, like, it was just like word vomit. It was just flowing out the mouth. The B word would just come and come. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like what? But yeah, I couldn't call this significant a nigger or a nigga, So I feel like sometimes you got to stand for yourself, and I'm not going to deal with the ratchet talking, especially the B word. And me and my husband established that one time because I didn't know and it was just me just talking because I can say that I can get better with my words. But sometimes I was just going and I was like, oh, nigga. And he was like, hold up. He was like, that's one thing I don't do. You don't call me no nigga. So I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm sorry. But he put me in my place to like, let me know, like, don't do that. And then especially when you really look back at it and you be like, say somebody's recording you and then you look back at yourself, and you be like, dang, was I really that ratchet? Did those words really come out of my mouth? It's just not pretty. You know what I mean? Especially when you see a pretty person and you're just like, dang, she just got a potty mouth. Her mouth is just crazy. Or the definition of my thing that always kills me is like, oh, my BD. What's a BD? I'm confused. I don't like that. That boils my skin. Like, you mean my daughter's father? Oh, okay. His name is X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to refer to him as my BD. Like, I just feel like too. And I feel like with the world changing though, because I remember in 6th grade when people would write notes and they got to the point where they was like abbreviating little things, but to the point now it's like everything's abbreviated. Sometimes I'll read a text and I'll be like, what does this mean? I'm so confused. Can you explain this to me? So I just like we have to go back to English language. I agree. Like it's total. Sometimes it gets me so out of the loop where I'm just like, I feel old and I'm only 33, and I'm just like, what does, I don't know. At first I didn't know what SMH was, shaking my head. I'm like, what is that? So it falls in every category though. Your words, your texting, and it's like, let's not do that. Because then also it affects your communication with your individual. And you're like, okay, now basically you got to set those boundaries and say, what can you say and what can't you say?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then do you want your kids to grow up like that? So your kids are also seeing what you do. Because I couldn't say yo growing up. That was like a big no. So now all the kids, my 4-year-old nephew tells me the other day, he was like, oh, what's up, bro? I said, bro. It's just, and then when you bring them to school and then they say certain things, it's just really crazy. And it just shouldn't be done. That's it. It shouldn't, because it has a triple effect. Just like we're, the topic of what we're having. It literally one little gateway of, hey, bitch, to your husband or whoever is calling you the B word. And then now you're just like, why are you calling me that? And it's supposed to be okay, but it's not okay. Or not as supposed to, but some people think it's okay because you already talk like that. So it's just like, give respect if you want respect. So.
Man, and my whole, just to piggyback off you before we go to Nicole, man, I prefer a good woman, not a bad bitch, So I'm coming to my sister Nicole. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Y'all killed that. Oh my goodness. Erica, you were all in my notes because let me mix it up. Hold on a second. Let me reiterate. It makes me giggle.
Sorry.
I think people who communicate in a series of hip hop phrases or slang words, again, funny and cute at the beginning, but I cannot have a productive conversation with you if you sound like a Cardi B Facebook status, like, oh, so a lot of times people will disguise their lack of communication skills this way. It goes back to insecurities. They mask the problem as opposed to addressing and working on it. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are Chappelle Show fans, which I really, really am, but there's a skit with Little John and Susan Sarandon where all of his responses to her were questions like, what? Yeah, okay. And it worked in the skit, right? It was hilarious in the skit. But can you imagine really dealing with this on a daily basis? No. So to be helpful, I know that it's kind of a funny topic, but on a more serious note, there are a few steps that anyone can take to become better at articulating their feelings. So number one, figure out what you're feeling. If you're offended, if you're irritated, or you feel disrespected. 2, put a label on those feelings. So find words that describe those feelings, depressed, angry, or sad. And then 3, dig deeper and more vulnerable into your emotions. Are you really upset? Or are you just in a bad mood? Or you're hungry, you're hangry, you need some food, and then maybe you won't feel this way. And then lastly, and number 4, figure out why you feel this way. Look for the root cause. What was your pain caused from? Is it current pain? Or is it past pain, childhood trauma, or something like that? So these steps will allow you to self-assess yourself before having a productive conversation with your partner.
Keyword productive. And when you use those words, I stated before, transformational vocabulary. When you normalize that, it doesn't make it productive no more, it makes it non-productive, right? So my whole thing is whenever you don't have like certain standards or moral codes, then you tend to follow your potential partner's rules of engagement. And that includes ratchet communication, if that's going to be the normal way you're going to talk to each other. And it becomes very challenging as everyone in the panel stated, it becomes very challenging dealing with someone when the relationship shifts to a rocky portion during the dating phase or whatsoever, and you trying to look at ways to decrease the emotional climate. But whenever you have name calling or you're using your words as weapons, when it can go from 0 to 100 real quick. And when you use words as weapons in a ratchet manner, then it may, sad to say this, but it may increase into a violent argument, which will deepen the wound so much that it creates an emotional scar where self-reflection is needed and healing will take a lot longer to occur. Okay. So with that being said, we are going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have the exchange where people can call in. So this is DBDS Live. Sit tight.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSsingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
That commercial is fire.
Brought to you by Miss Nicole Media.
Yeah.
So what up, my people? Welcome back to DBDS Live. We've been chopping it up, dropping wisdom nuggets, and now it's time for the exchange for you to call in, ask questions, your thoughts, and call in live right now. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. The number is 860-365-9710. That's 860-365-9710. The number also, I'm going to pop it right on the screen. So please, my peoples, call in. There you go.
You don't have to call Tyrone. Call DBDS.
So we're going to continue, when we get that call in, we're going to just take a few calls, but we're going to continue flowing. So the next subtopic that we're going to talk about is arguing and debating. Oh, actually, we do have a call.
Oh, yay.
Oh.
Yay.
All right. Well, welcome to DBDS Live.
Hello, my name is Rene, and I have a question about the lying segment. What should I do if I catch my significant other in numerous lies throughout the course of our relationship?
That's a really good question. Thank you for calling in. We greatly appreciate that question. Oh, Rene must have hung up. Okay, so first, I'm going to come to my sister Gianni. What's your response to that? If you catch them in numerous lies, what will you do?
You have to reevaluate yourself. That's what it boils down to, because if it's not that person. Well, obviously it is that person, but I want you to know it's within you, because now all you're showing that person is that you're accepting all of the lies. If you know that you've caught them multiple times, they know what they can do to you, and I don't feel like that's fair at all. Like I said, just reevaluate yourself, know what you believe in. And if you don't want to be there, then don't be there, because like I said, all you're doing is showing that person that you're willing to accept all their lies, and they can continue to keep lying to you. And that's not fair to you. So you need to make a decision for yourself and say, I don't want to do this. That's what it's going to boil down to, because if you don't say that, or if you don't stand up for yourself, then that person is just going to keep walking over you because you've accepted it numerous times. So they're like, oh, please, she ain't never going to leave. Or she, I can just tell her this little white lie or whatever it is. And they're going to think it's okay. And when it's not okay, it's just okay because you've accepted it so many times. So like I said, you just got to ask yourself, look into yourself, love yourself, and say what you're going to deal with and what you're not going to deal with. And If it's happened so many times at this point, I would just say, you know, I don't know what you have going on with that individual, but say, I'm done. I can't do it no more, because all you're doing is hurting yourself. And do you deserve that? No, we don't.
Very well said. Now we have a next call. The next question is going to come from my sister Erica. Welcome to DBDS Live. What is your question or thoughts?
Hi, my name is Rene, and I was calling about the lying segment. I got disconnected.
Oh, my bad, Rene. Go ahead.
So what should I do if I catch my significant other in numerous lies throughout the course of our relationship?
Okay, that's a very good question. I know Gianni was just dropping some jewels right quick, but I'll go ahead and answer that for you, Rene. So I think it's time to reevaluate the relationship, because you can't build a healthy relationship on lies, because trust is one of the main components to build a stable foundation with you and your partner. And when someone lies on a consistent basis, it will only decrease the trust factor. So without trust, pretty much you don't have a relationship.
Well, when I catch, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rene.
Well, when I catch him in his lies and I try to leave him, he gets very emotional, start apologizing and asking me for another chance. Like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, Rene. Well, Erica, what are your thoughts on what Rene is stating?
So what you're dealing with, I don't know if he I feel like to throw the term out narcissist. Yeah, can you hear me? Can she hear?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't want to.
No.
Okay, can you hear me now? I'm not okay. Well, in her situation, to answer her question, this is the time where you have to see that it's like I give you a reaction, and or else I do something, you give me a reaction, and I know how to manipulate you, so to speak. So this is one of those situations where you have to create those boundaries. You have to make it black and white. And if you're sitting here, you're like, okay, he's doing this over and over again. He's giving me an Oscar-winning performance. He has the tears, the woodworks, everything going. This is where you need to say, it's like, okay, what am I not willing to put up with anymore? Set those boundaries, set them in place, and apply them to yourself and reinforce them. Because as long as you just keep saying like, okay, I see the potential or whatever, you're in that gray area. And that gray area is what's going to have you down this rabbit hole of like inconsistent behaviors, which is only going to lead to like an unhealthy relationship, not only with you and this other person, but within yourself, and which also can help condition you to devalue yourself in the long run, because you continue to put up with these mannerisms.
Great answer. And Rene, thank you for calling in. Nicole, anything you want to say to Rene as far as like her current situation?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Rene, because she is our very first caller of the exchange. So thank you so much for calling in and being vulnerable with us. I mean, I'll just piggyback off of Gianni and Erica. When you forgive someone over and over and over again, you're only teaching them how to treat you. You're teaching them what you'll accept. So it's okay when you're in a relationship and your needs change, because we do grow up, we get older, we have different needs. So that's the time to sit down and communicate. Listen, this doesn't work for me anymore, and this is why. So if he's not able to follow those rules that you said or the needs that you have, it's time to move on. I mean, you deserve the truth. If he can't respect what you're saying and what you need, he might have to go.
Very well said. And I'm going to just throw some comments up on the board of our viewers looking at the show. Here we go. First one.
Facebook user gives us all hearts. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Okay, the next one.
And my beautiful dearest friend and name twin, Nicole Marie Denver, give us the praise hands.
Okay, appreciate that. And my next sister here.
And Joanna says, absolutely.
Thank you, my peoples, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. So since we're running a little bit low on time, we're going to go ahead and take one last commercial break. And right now, it's about that time. That's right. Our Jerry Springer moment. So sit tight. One last question. This is DBDS Live. We'll be right back.
If you would like to learn how to establish and maintain long-term meaningful relationships, join DBDS University today. You will learn about interpersonal relationships, first date tips, the relationship zones, emotional intelligence, and more.
I want to say thank you to my big brothers Mel and Mo for creating the DBDS University with the live, the book, the website. It's helped me so much grow as an individual.
All right, my peoples, welcome back. And I'm here with my sister Erica, my sister Gianni, and my DBDS sister Nicole. And it's been nothing but golden nuggets. And if you missed this episode, don't worry. Our show will be on heavy rotation throughout the week on Facebook. But you can also catch this episode on DBDS Live, our YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for additional content. And also make sure you follow us on dbdsLivellc.podbean.com. So now it's about that time to share our final thoughts. That's right, our Jerry Springer moment. And I'm coming to my sister Erica. Give the people who's watching your final thoughts for today's show.
I think the main thing that we need to take from this is communication is key. Today, society has gotten a little bit lax in how we communicate with one another. And we just need to know when it comes to relationship, there is no such thing as being lax. You can be in a healthy, happy relationship, but it's work. Just like when you go to work every day, but it's a different, on a different caliber. And then from there, just know that the things that you might be in fear of communicating, if you just simply open up and express in the beginning, you'd be so surprised at how much happier and healthier your path will be through the course versus having to maybe potentially block yourself with a potential life partner because of the boundaries that you set for yourself or the blocks you create for yourself.
Fire.
Very
I
well
love
said.
that.
I love that too. Very well said. Very powerful. I'm coming to my
Yes.
sister Gianni. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
How can I beat that?
Right?
So I just say, I'm always going to say, and it's just because something I learned for myself, just go back to yourself and reevaluate yourself, understand yourself, so that when that next person comes into your life, you're able to set the tone and tell them the do's and the don'ts, and hopefully they can do the same thing and just learn from every lesson. Don't look at any situation as a loss. Look at it as a lesson and to grow from that lesson. Because God put us on this earth for a purpose. We're meant to be here. We're meant to be with someone. It's not like we're meant to die alone. No, He wants us to be in relationships, So like I said, just finding yourself, understanding your boundaries, understanding what you live for, understanding your vows, your values, your core of everything, and just moving forward. And like Erica said, communication. You got to have communication with whatever it is you're going through in life. Have communication, because it could just be that one thing, and it can just blow up, and you can just go back to say, wow, I actually didn't communicate that the way I wanted to, and you're just like, I just lost something forever. You don't want to have that feeling of losing something forever just because of lack of communication. So that's all I have to say.
Here again.
Here. I normally don't drop fires on the spring moment, but very well said, very powerful. And to my DBDS sister Nicole, what are your final thoughts for today's show?
Well, before giving my closing thoughts, I would like to thank this incredibly beautiful and intelligent panel. Gianni, Mommy, and Erica, you two are absolutely amazing. I also want to thank my girl, Becca Dominguez, for styling my hair and makeup for today's show. Got your girl looking fly. My Colorado peeps, again, be sure to hit her up on Instagram, hairby_Becca, which is BECCA22. So, to all my brothers and sisters, it can be easy to get so swept up in the idea of someone that you ignore the red flags, especially in the beginning. If the initial connection goes well, you might be more apt to overlooking the little details on those first few dates. I urge you, I beg you, save yourself the heartache and headache by paying close attention to those red flags and not trying to paint those red flags green. With that being said, always love yourself first, and the right one will find you.
Very well said. I'm going to drop a bomb. And speaking of showing love, it's our sister right there.
Hey, that's my girl, Becca. So yeah, you can follow her on Facebook, Becca Dominguez. She's amazing.
Thank you for tuning in, Becca. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you again, Gianni, Erica. You sisters are simply amazing. And we appreciate your knowledge and wisdom. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So my final thoughts, I just want to say that a person playing a role will eventually forget their act. And this is why it's so important to have standards and take your time to get to know someone. So that way you can see these traits at the beginning. Because everything a person does is telling you something about them, whether verbally or non-verbally. And it starts first by recognizing what is shown to you and then recognizing the things the other person is showing you on a consistent basis. All right. So once again, I want to thank. Yes.
Sorry.
Burn the studio down. It's all good. It's all good. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Yo, right? Mel Money, send us off.
Hi.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Namaste.
Bye, you guys.